But it encourages me to keep fighting the good fight and not shrink away, because even if they kill me, I mean, God can raise me right back up. That they don't have any hold on any decent, upright person. We're all truly free. That's the only true reality, is we are free. If I'm willing to live in a world without money, and I'm willing to let everybody else be set free, okay, and to live in that same world, to not be beholden, not have to pay me. If my stuff is free, everything I need and want is free, then why would I want to make anybody else pay? I don't want to be anybody else's authority, anybody else's boss. No, no, no. I want everybody to be free. The same things I want for myself and my children, I want for others. And we all have to do that. That's just being honest with yourself. That's just being that is just leaning toward that godly instinct you have to be a good person, a good child, godly child, a holy child of God, a cosmic child that loves God and loves his fellow man, his brothers and sisters, and wants everybody to be free, bar none, unconditionally free, absolutely free. And you've got to be free from the money masters. We've all got to be free. And we've got to be honest. Anytime we have economic discussions, we've got to be honest with each other. And we've got to work to bring people together and offer up solutions. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And this is why I trust Trump. He may not be abolishing the Federal Reserve, but he may understand that it'd get him dead. I mean, how many hitmen are they got up their sleeves waiting in line to do their dirty work for huge sums of money? Because when you own the copyright to the money, you don't care. You give this guy $1 billion, it's nothing to you. There's 10 billion more waiting in the wings. So yeah, it's easy to understand how Satan rules this world. When money is the rule of the day, this is the motivation, this is the incentive for so much of the evil that goes on in the land. It shouldn't be hard for people to understand how they do this stuff. Money is a huge motivator, and it ought not be like that. People should not make their career choices based on money. They should be free to do whatever they want to damn well do. And if they change their mind in a month or 2 months or 2 years or 5 years or whatever, that's their prerogative as an equal child, human being. The plight, the scheme, the primary objective for the New World Order cabal: to keep the territory they've successfully exploited through centralization and keep the train of human destruction chugging along to the precipice of no return, over the precipice of no return. Yeah, these are some of my thoughts from the past week. That's what they want. They want to keep the money centralized. They don't want states or community deciding. We've got our own money. We don't accept Federal Reserve notes here, because that's the only grassroots level I could see that you could really effectively change anything. You just say, no, dollars are not accepted here. We accept this type of dollar here. This is the local dollar of the state. So whenever you enter the state, you got to turn in your money, because we don't take that money. That would work, yeah. And then you'd see everybody go to those states that have money where there's progress, and you see the currency increase in worth, the standard of living increase. Of course you would. They don't want that. Then you could put it under a microscope. Well, how's this working like this? How'd they do it? And then the other states could follow suit. Then the nation could follow suit. Then the world could follow suit. So they can't let one bug stand up. They've got to keep it crushed. They've got to keep control. This is why the centralization. This is why centralization is so bad and decentralization is so good. Logic has become a radical notion in a world rife with insanity. Let us not forget to breathe through the pain. Right, this is something I think when you're stressed out and people forget to breathe, it doesn't help. It makes you unhealthy. It makes you even more stressed out. So it's important to once in a while remind yourself to take a deep breath and just say, God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Because that's what, any godly person that's on the side of humanity really wants. They want, at the end of the day, God's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. A last man standing, survival of the meanest economic system. That's what we have. Crony capitalism is a misnomer. It is the absolute antithesis of true capitalism. I wrote an analogy here. It's like a group of men wanting to have their way with your beloved wife. Although you keep telling them, no, that's my wife you're talking about, they delusionally keep insisting, no, she isn't. She's a whore. And whether you like it or not, or hate it, we're going to have our way with her. And that's exactly what they've done to my country. You know, my beloved America has been turned into a crap hole for the New World Order cabal and all their money-loving satanic minions. Sycophantic suck-ups. They sicken me. God help their wretched souls. Government, quote, is culpable, therefore responsible for creating poverty. Yep, they legitimized, they allowed it. So people say, oh, the government, why turn to the government for help? Well, they are legitimizing it. Somebody has to be held accountable. They have allowed it. And you can say, yeah, well, that was Congress and Senate. It wasn't your local government or, so-and-so. Tough. The problems are here. The social, economic, and political problems are at everybody's doorstep. We've all got to assume our own culpability in this mess. Be responsible. Understand how you're being tyrannized, how he's being tyrannized, how you are, and fight the good fight. Not just for yourself and your own personal interests, self-interest. You've got to give a damn about other people's interests. Okay, that's the way it is. That's a dose of reality. Okay, and it's not selfish, only in the sense that you're by you caring about others, it is actually unselfish because it comes back in gratification, satisfaction that you're fighting the good fight properly, and God is condoning of your fight. Because if it's just about you and it's all selfish, no. In your selflessness is your selfishness, if that makes sense. It is a paradox because caring about others brings gladness of heart, and it is your security. This is where the whole dissent being the highest form of patriotism needs to be understood. Yes, somebody could call themselves, I'm a patriot and I believe in crony capitalism. Oh no, you're not a patriot. You're a piece of crap. You believe in inequality. That's very un-American. You believe that wealth and income disparity is okay and ever-growing extreme poverty is okay. That's not an American value. BS on that. So you've got to define the terms, define the words, right? Patriotism. And be able to call people out. Be empowered by the knowledge. And be absolutely certain when you're right, you stick to your guns, you're right. You're prescribing the logic, and you can back it up with mathematics, like the stuff I teach is. Whenever you feel small, remember who your divine parents are. It's God Almighty. Honesty, an imperative ingredient in transcending madness. Yeah, we really just have to be more honest. We don't have to be particularly intellectual or have a high IQ. We've got to be honest. We've just got to be honest. During any genuinely productive conversation, each individual word must be determined through a meeting of the minds. Absolutely imperative to a productive conversation. Absolutely. And this is where honesty comes in. People have to be willing to put down their old perceived ideas of what a word means and say, okay, if that's the way you want to use it in that context, fine, let's use it like that. Now let's have that conversation where either you're going to dispel my delusions or I'm going to dispel yours. One of us is going to prevail here, but we're being honest and we just want good to prevail. We don't want to be right. We just want to learn from it and grow and be enriched thereof and be empowered with that knowledge and be coming out of ignorance and coming out of confusion. Well, one may, or rather should, quote, hate their lives in this unjust and evil world, like Jesus said, based establishment. We should simultaneously be nurturing and growing a grand, even indestructible will to live. And that's forever. That's it. We've got to make a world, a society that we want to live in forever. Because people think that, oh, well, that's an out. When we die, that levels the playing field. No, we're trying to create a world that we want to live in forever. That's perfect down to the smallest detail. Leave the rest to God. If you can't change the blistering heat, well, God can. Or you can't change the miserable, brutal cold, well, God can. All the bad things now, God can change. If gravity is deadly now, you say, well, how is that going to change? Well, God can change that. Disease, well, God can change that. death. God can change that. Consider that yours, my complaints may have a distinct justification in reality. That's right. We should validate each other's emotions and try to help them understand. If they hate capitalism, explain to them. What they really hate is crony capitalism. Understand how it's antithetical to true capitalism. Explain these things to people. And communists, if you believe you're the right guys, then explain. Don't be held back from some talking point that's handed to you because you're being paid by some George Soros group. You're not a real liberal if you're against free speech. Hash it out. Get to the bottom of things. Let's work together to heal the wounds of this nation. Please, I beg of everybody, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, socialist, communist, capitalist, come on, let's get together, people. Don't be divided the way they want you divided. Let's defy them. Let's defy these evildoers of all stripes, whatever they call themselves. And people, remember, they can call themselves whatever they want. Doesn't make it true. I could call myself a hunk of cheese. And if you don't know what a hunk of cheese looks like, then you don't know that I'm not lying. This is what I mean about defining words. Define the words of capitalism, all you good capitalists. And define what you mean about socialism. You just want the best. You don't want, well, not Stalin, not Mao, not Pol Pot, not, none of these evil, even Hitler. The Nazis called themselves a socialist party. Okay, so if you're a good socialist, then you've got to explain, well, yeah, I mean, leave the rest out. I mean the good side. I mean the, share the wealth and blue collar, working class for the people, that kind of socialism that you're talking about. In which case, you're on the same page with a good capitalist. That's why capitalism and socialism have been coexisting in America for so long, is because we got good people in both belief categories, both philosophies. This is how it works. So let's just get together here and overwhelm these evil people, all those crony capitalists, all those communists. Don't let them tell you you can't engage in conversation to be enriched and grow, to come out of ignorance. Or maybe you believe at first that you're just helping others come out of ignorance and coming out of confusion. Whatever, it doesn't matter as long as we're honest and we don't have pride that's going to keep us from learning. Okay, that's it. Let's put the ego aside and say, no, this is about a learning experience. This is about being empowered with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And overwhelming, overcoming the money masters, these diabolical Satanists that are creating the policy we have to live under. It's crony capitalism, it's communism. It's two peas in a pod. They hate humanity, the haters of humanity. And it's run by hypocrites, the worst kind of hypocrites. They're elitist scum. I mean, their behavior is. God loves them. I know. But I know these people hate me because I'm telling you, I'm exposing them. And these people hate to be exposed. But that ship has sailed, man. They've been exposed up one side and down the other in the day of the internet age, the computer age now. Okay, but we've got to use it. And we've got to just keep on pushing and just keep coming against them and working it down. We've got to say, this is our demands. This is what we want. We want our standard of living to increase. We want our burden to be less. We want our taxes to be less. We want our cost of living to be less. We want our currency to increase in worth. We want a long, steady trajectory in that direction so that we're finally free. Totally free, absolutely, completely, unconditionally free, financially free, okay? That's what we've got to get, folks. Please, it's imperative that people understand these basic economic truths, please. Personally, I believe if Trump had his way with our treasury, we'd all be as rich as he is. I've already said that before, haven't I? It's unnatural not to feel a need to be useful to humanity. Through thinking and through deduction, by putting two and two together, we can readily see the net result, the end from the beginning, the means to an end that a true supply and demand-based economic system produces. Absolute freedom for all. Crony capitalism, business model for the 21st century. Here they go. They find a viable special interest group, this is their advice, collude with it, and fix prices through market manipulation. That's the only advice they can give you. That's the bandwagon. You can't beat them, join them, right? Bury your head in the sand, abandon your conscience, ignorance is bliss, abandon your ethics, abandon your morals, All that stuff is not going to pay your rent, okay? So just join us. Become evil. Join Satan and end up going to hell. That's the only advice they have. Unreserved personal honesty shared only with our owner is like activated charcoal for the soul. Yeah, some things we just can't talk with other people. Okay, everybody's got these kind of issues. That's why so many people go to counselors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. Okay, it's that same principle, is that certain things, we all have issues, and we're ashamed of those issues because we've got compunction, we've got